You're listening to The Mountain Spirit, a podcast of Christian Appalachian Project. Join us as we talk with artists, leaders, and change makers about heritage, hope, culture, and transformation as we celebrate the voices and traditions that shape Appalachia and inspires us all. Today, our guests are Bill and Addie Likens, directors of the Dunlow Community Center. Their service has impacted thousands of people in the Cowboy Lingo area of West Virginia. And their story is a testament to what love in action looks like. Hi, Bill and Addie. Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for the invitation.
Hello, thank you.
Well, we're so excited to hear from you both today. So we're going to start with just a general question. So for people who are not familiar with Cowboy Lingo, I remember the first time I came down, I'm like, what's that word mean? Help us. Can you tell us the origin of the name or the word Cowboy Lingo?
Yes. So actually, we borrowed that from the state park that is right beside of us. And it actually was a made-up word by them that included the counties that the park serves. So it's Cabell, Wayne, Lincoln, and Mingo County. So it's Cowboy Lingo. So the actual location is Dunlow.
Gotcha. So you tell us a little bit about Dunlow. For people who may not have been to that part of West Virginia, can you give us a sense of the area and the people who call Dunlow home?
Yeah. So actually, I'm from Dunlow. My mom only lives about 4 miles from here still. So I was here all my life growing up. But we are about an hour and 15 minutes south of Huntington. We're 45 minutes from the nearest grocery store. We just recently, about 20 minutes away, got a Dollar General store, and that was the only store within that 45-minute radius. There's not a lot of jobs, obviously. Right. It used to have a lot of coal mines and timber industry, and those have pretty much dried up. So now everyone, when they're younger, either moves away as they get their education and get older, or, you have a lot of people that move back here to retire. But you don't have new people moving into the area very often.
Yeah. So, Addie, I'm going to get you in here. So you're a mom. You raise your kids there in the community. What is special about the community and being able to raise your family there?
It's a close-knit community. I mean, this community is very, very small. The elementary is like less than 50 right now. So it's a lot of one-on-one at the schools. And it's just a nice, quiet place to live, to raise a family.
Awesome. So then let's talk a little bit then about, you talked about before we jumped on, your role with the church. So how did your connection to First Presbyterian Church of Huntington shape your outreach efforts in Dunlow?
I was hired in to run a small outreach in the basement of the church 22 years ago. The church played a huge role in my life growing up because I received food from the food pantry here as a young person. They give it the grounding. They've supported us, and they're the reason that we have such a strong religious background here. This is where God wanted us to be, so He's placed us here, and they've made that possible. And then they support and come out whenever possible to help us with the distributions and the youth events.
Yeah. So, Addie, can you tell me a little bit about how you and Bill met and what really drives you to be involved in outreach?
So, Bill and I met back in middle school, so we've known each other. Friends for a long, long time, but we actually didn't start dating till late high school. And then we were married shortly after school. And then we had the 2 children now. And it's just been crazy how we've known each other for so long and best friends. And then now that we're working together all the time and serving so many people and doing God's work. Love it.
Awesome. So what needs did you all see in the community that inspired you when the Dunlow Community Center was getting started? Like what were you envisioning that the center could do to help meet those needs?
So part of it was the after school programs that we do. Is there's nothing for kids to do, and most of them can't afford. I mean, even something as simple as when I was growing up, my parents couldn't afford to take me to the library, which is 40 minutes away.
Wow.
So the elementary school would give me, I love to read, and they'd give me the old National Geographic magazines and I'd take them home and read them over and over again. But, stuff like that, a place for the kids to hang out. And then the extra need for the community of just a gathering place, a centralized location for events and activities there. And of course, all the need for the food.
So tell me a little bit like I've been there and we riding on the trucks and trying to find it and make it there. So can you just like physically describe to me what the area is like? So we've talked about like things being 40 minutes away, and like that blows my mind to think about your public library or like the nearest grocery store. But can you help people like paint a picture of what it's like to like drive around the roads and trying to get to places and that sort of thing, like the topography and that part of the region?
Yeah, so absolutely. So we're in the foothills of Appalachia. So the mountains are about 1,000 foot high. They're not monstrous, but they're very steep hills and they're very narrow valleys that flood regularly. About half of the people live in the valley, so the roads that you traveled on would be the ones that about half the people live on, and then the other half live up, as we call them, the hollers, or up on top of the ridges. Those would be the roads we have to travel when it floods, and you have to have four-wheel drive to get to some of them. So when it snows here, it takes forever to get the roads cleared, so you're stuck in it, so you got to be a little bit self-sufficient. We have lots of power outages. Again, there's not much flat land at all. So if I wanted to build it, say I wanted to bring a factory in here, it wouldn't be possible because there's probably not 5 acres of flat land that doesn't flood within 20 minutes of us.
Yeah. That already like helps people to understand the challenges that you all face, even with getting in supplies and things like that to be able to help families. We're going to talk about that a little bit more as we go on. So eventually one of the ministries out of the Dunlow Community Center was the Cowboy Lingo Appalachia mission. Can you describe the impact of the food pantry on families in the community and challenges that come with running a food pantry in a rural area, and even to the topography as we just talked about of getting food in so that you can service the community?
Yeah, so obviously when we have new truck drivers even bringing in the trucks, sometimes they're a little hesitant to come into our area, and I have to tell them, hey, we've done 1 million pounds last year. I think you're going to be okay. But sometimes and if it floods, we have to cancel those because not even the trucks can get through the waters.
Yeah.
When we started out at the church, we were doing 8 families a month for the food pantry, and now we do about 750 families.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, so it has grown just slightly,
just a little bit,
just a little bit. The need is huge here. There's not many. We're pretty much the only organization that's doing any sort of outreach work in our area. And so people drive a long time. They park in the line the night before, and they sit in their cars and wait, so they'll be first in line because that's a little bit that they can do to help their family. So they feel like they're contributing by making that sacrifice and waiting in line to be first. And so I mean we're blessed with it, but the need is just huge. We have a huge amount of senior citizens here that are on fixed income. I think last month was over 500 seniors that came through our food pantry line. So they have no control over, their income and their expenses. So we're trying to help them as much as possible there.
So Addie, I wonder if you could speak to what is that like for you when you see that line and you see seniors coming through, or families with young kids, like we just talked about you being a mom and I'm a mom, and like, what does that do to your heart, and what does it make you feel about the work you all get to do to come alongside families and seniors in the community?
I really enjoy my time because I do registration, so I get to actually speak with each family, and it's just so nice. I consider a lot of them friends because they tell me please pray for my sister or someone who's ill.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's an honor for someone to ask you to pray for their family because it's like they trust you. And then I made a lot of connections with them, so many. And then a lot of them are like grandparents raising their grandkids. So I know their kids that come to our after school programs. And it's just amazing how connected you get to those people.
Yeah. And what do you do to keep from becoming discouraged when you see how great the need is.
Just know that God's love, that God will provide. I mean, he always sends the right people, the right items just when we need it. So it's just amazing. And sometimes it's hard to be that patient and waiting, but I always know that he's going to come through.
Amen. Amen. And Bill, I wonder if you could just add to that. How do you keep from being discouraged when you see people having to line up a mile or line up the night before to get the things they need for their family? How do you stay engaged with the work?
Oh, I mean, just the fact that you see, it takes 40 volunteers or 50. You see these people coming in to help and giving of their time. You see the truckloads of donations that we're unloading there, and just knowing that, God provides for us and that we're doing what he wants us to do by helping those in need. My battery's charged.
Amen. Amen. Yeah. I know we quote Matthew 28 a lot here at
Christian
Appalachian Project. I wonder you can just expound on that verse and how that informs the work you all do through the church and also through the community center.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone comes and they're hungry, we're going to feed them. Doesn't matter. If they come and they tell me they need clothing, we're going to find them some clothing. If they come and they need just someone to talk to, then we're here for that also. 4,000 local residents have my personal cell phone number. We don't keep landlines at all because I got to the point that I didn't have the time to return voicemails, and I was horrible at it. So I just gave out my cell phone.
Yeah.
So I get calls quite often.
And tell me, where do you live in relation to the community center, and how do people access you?
On the same property there. So we live in the parsonage of the church, and everyone knows where it's at. So they come knocking on our door. So since we're so rarely there, we keep a camera on it so they can ring the doorbell and talk to us. And, so like that one, didn't realize that there would be someone at the center, and I just told them to come on over, and one of them would help take care of them there.
Yeah. So you all made it easy for people to get the help they need.
Oh yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Did you know on this Giving Tuesday, families in need in Appalachia are counting on you? Don't miss this opportunity to provide nutritious food, warm clothing, critical home repairs, and Christ's love to people living in unimaginable poverty. Visit christianapp.org to give today to help children, families, and seniors in need.
You mentioned the food, and we mentioned the food pantry that you all serve. Each year, you all really do give out millions of pounds of food and other donated items to families. What does a distribution day look like for you? You talked about people coming the night before. How many families do you serve through the pantry itself? So if I was standing out there on a distribution day, what does that look like? What time does your volunteers arrive? You talked about needing about 40. Yeah. That's a whole lot of volunteers.
It is.
What kind of partnerships do you have in order, I'm sure, with other in the area to get that number of volunteers each time?
Yes. So we have, we try to schedule a group of different volunteers at each time. About half of our months, we have a specific group, like in the summer and in the spring, we'll have mission groups of up to 50 that come specifically for Food Pantry Week. So they'll come in. And of course, those weeks are a little easier with even though you're trying to manage them, and they'll stay the whole week. On Thursday and Friday, once a month, it's the fourth Thursday, following Friday. But during those, we'll have 750 families. That includes right around 500 seniors and about 3,800 individuals. We have pretty good sized families here. That will fluctuate, of course, time of year, but it's not much of a difference from one month to the next. We'll start with Addie. Addie decides that she wants to fix breakfast for all of the volunteers. So she comes over about 5:30 or 6 and starts fixing biscuits and gravy and sausage and eggs and stuff, so that when I get there at 7 or 7:30 and start running the forklift with the other volunteers, she's already got the food ready and in the warmer for them. Yeah. She also fixes a big lunch, usually like spaghetti or something like that, and put it in a crock pot. So we have volunteers like my mother, who's in her mid 80s and on a walker, and they'll help serve the food to the volunteers while we're doing it. But we set it up as a drive-through only. We have a pre-registration tent where they'll get a paper if they haven't been here since July of the last year, because that's when our new date is. If not, they just get a little card where they're marked off a list. They come up to Addie, who has a registration booth that we pull out that's got a drive-up window in it. And we designed this and built it so I could move it with my forklift. And she has all her papers that she's required by the government to do. And so they'll stop at there, and that gives them time in between the two to fill out that form if they need to. Once they go from it, they stop at a central location, and that's where it's like a pit crew is what I tell them. They all the volunteers come together, and we everyone has their job, and we're loading. We have a shopping cart for each family. Generally, that shopping cart, now this is food and non-food items, but the shopping cart generally has about 55 pounds of items in it. And then we'll have bulk items, which are like cases of the drinks and the chips that Cap sends us, and the baby food, which is very popular. Items like that will go in per car usually. And then after that, there's another stop where they can choose miscellaneous items. So this is the Amazon stuff that we get from you and from other sources, Amazon and Costco. And these are everything from an air fryer to a bicycle,
Wow.
So we have those items. They get usually one big item per car in that. And then we'll have another station when we're blessed enough to get pallets of diapers and adult products like the Depends. We'll have those out there, and they'll get those also. And then they'll move on to the next one. So it's roughly 45 seconds is what we have per car per everyone all day long for 2 days.
So tell me a little bit about the partnerships you have in terms of getting in the goods that you need, whether it's food for the pantry or other items like the diapers and the baby food. What are those partnerships like to help you all be successful in serving the community?
I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be able to do anything without them. We have CAP, which has been incredible with us, and they send us a truckload at least once a month of items there that we get in usually a day or two before the distribution.
We're saying a semi-truck, not a pickup truck. Right.
Yeah. 53-foot. Everything pretty much comes on 53-foot trucks now. I have 2 forklifts on spot here, so we do pretty good with that. We partner with the Facing Hunger Food Bank out of Huntington, and that's where we get our USDA commodities and some of the extra food. We have the FarmLink project out of California, and they send us truckloads of fresh fruit and vegetables. And last year we did over 1 million pounds just of the fresh fruit and vegetables.
Oh my gosh.
With them. So we've now got to the point that other smaller agencies are coming to pick that up by the pallet. When we get a 26, the last one was 40,000 pounds of Red Delicious apples, which were great, but they came in, and some of the other agencies would take like a pallet and take it back to their church, sort of like CAP does, and distribute those. And then we get truckloads directly from World Vision and from their warehouses. And then, every now and then we'll get some direct shipments, some of them through CAP and some through other organizations. So that all just comes together to allow us to serve this many people.
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, many hands make light work is what that reminds me of, everybody working together for a common goal. So do you currently feel like you have the things that you need to meet the needs of the community? Are you seeing changes, or are you having to think differently about how you're going to meet needs as we go into the winter months?
Yeah, we are having to think differently over the last year or so. I mean, as everyone knows, the government funding for the commodities and some of the other programs they were doing has really diminished greatly. So the federal government, the USDA that we get has dropped to probably somewhere around 5 pounds per family now. Where
From
before,
what was it?
where a few years ago, it had probably been 20 pounds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we are even more aware of the need that we got to work harder to get more food items. Now, I do get a lot of non-food items, and that helps make up, because if someone's driving 45 minutes away and staying in line for an average of 3 hours, I don't want to give them 10 pounds of food. I want to give them something that's going to make it meaningful and make a meaningful difference in their life. The non-food items definitely help with that, but we're always in search of more food items. Now, with our communities, they are very good about preserving. So this produce we get a lot of tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers. Everyone has canned, frozen, however they need to preserve this. In the winter months, they'll have more. But we get very little in the way of, say, meat or anything of that nature now.
Yeah, yeah. So, Addie, can you speak to a little bit of seeing how you all have to be a little bit more nimble and maybe innovative, and how you continue to engage with your volunteers, keep them engaged, and also how you continue to minister to the people who come through the line for services?
With the volunteers, I think it's a blessing kind of for them too, because to see all this work go into motion, to actually see the people receive the food, because sometimes we have groups who just help bag. But when you help bag and actually see the food going into the car where it's going for that family, that makes a big difference too. And then I try to take good care of my volunteers, because we couldn't do this without the volunteers. So that's why I feed them, and we try to make a difference for them as well.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So we've talked a lot about the food program, but you all do a host of other things as well.
Yeah.
So you have an after-school program, you do home repair. So I wonder if we could talk a little bit about some of those programs. So how did you get into the after-school program? You talked about kids not having a lot of options after school, and things are far away, and maybe parents' resources are financially maybe some hardships there. So speak to us about your after school program. How many kids do you serve, and how did you get started there?
And so let me just say, as someone who grew up in the area and know the challenges, whenever we got married, I had been to one movie at a theater.
Oh, wow.
Other than a church trip I went on, I had never been at a sit-down restaurant, and I probably had ate at a fast food restaurant that wasn't part of a school trip maybe 4 times in my life. And there's so many like this. So, that was definitely a strong one on my heart. We've had students that have went to college that before they came with us and went places with us, on our activities, they had never been across a city street. You tell me now, a person like that who is going to go to WVU, for example, and go to college, that's just puts them at such a disadvantage. And then we have a lot of foster kids in our area that switch from school to school to school. They don't have any sort of grounding on it. They have no one trusted person they could speak to. So we try to be that person and that role model. But now our after school program, it's just blessed. We are located at the perfect location between bus routes. And they can ride a school bus from 6 different schools, public schools, and get off at our community center. Without a problem. So we have between 60 and 70 kids every Tuesday night that we keep for 4 hours. We feed them a full meal, and we feed them a snack before they leave. And these kids, the whole point of that is just a place for the kids to be a kid. There's absolutely, it's not easy working for me on that, because no adult is supposed to raise their voice. unless someone's going to get hurt. There's no yelling. There's no screaming. There's no, we think twice before we say no. If the kids want to play and be loud, that's what the kids are supposed to be doing. So this is what we let them do. So I like to call it controlled chaos, safely, but it is, and it's not for everybody, but it is just, it's just a place for them not to worry about whether they're hungry, not to worry about whether they have the same stuff that everyone else does. It's all equal.
Yeah.
And so from that program, we have donors that allow us to take kids on trips. So like for spring break last year, we rented a cabin in Tennessee with a swimming pool.
Oh, wow.
Inside the cabin. And we took about a dozen teenagers and took them out to eat at a lot of their first time restaurants that they sit down. People just take that for granted. I mean, I would now. And, so we're very blessed to be able to kind of be that influence in their life.
Yeah, I think that that's important to remind people that you can take a thing for granted if your lived experience is different. And I think like hearing you talk about like then giving access so that they do, if if they're getting a great public education, I'm sure, and then being able to go to college, but you all are giving them those experiences to help ground them and maybe give them a little bit more exposure so they can be successful when they go out. And so I applaud you all in your work there. And I think you talked about it yourself, your own lived experience and trying to give these kids a different experience than you had. I'm sure that many of these kids also fall under your Christmas program. I wonder if you could talk about that and how you all come alongside families to make sure kids have a smile on their face on Christmas morning.
Yeah. So we have over 300 kids signed up. We just sent to some of our partner agencies their part of the list. So what we do is we break this down, and one group was doing, I think, 58 of the kids, and they actually come in and do a Christmas party for the kids in person in December, and with full on Santa, and they get their presents at that time. We have another group which is mainly spearheaded by Seton Hall University, who's been coming for 30 years doing this. Wow. And they're bringing close to 90 kids each year. And then there's another 170 that we do. So we collect gifts all year round. So the presents that we get from CAP, the toys, we will save that throughout the year. And at the end of the year, we give each one of those 170 kids probably 6 or 7 gifts each that are wrapped and ready. So a lot of wrapping. But this allows us. And then we have the ones that come to our after school program, which ends up altogether being 70 to 80 kids. We have the parents meet us at Walmart, and we let them do in-person shopping of $50 each. Yeah. So we serve a lot. Altogether close to 400 will be what we'll serve.
Wow. Yeah, I am sure that makes so much difference in the relationships that you're building as well. And so we're going to bring Addie back in. So talk a little bit about the relationships with these kids and getting a chance to be an impact in their lives.
Wow, I love the kids. I love hugs, so I get a lot of hugs from the kids. But just to see them smile is just amazing because, I don't care what kind of day they had at home or what kind of day they had at school. When they come to the community center, it's positive, it's upbeat. We're going to have a good time. We're going to eat. I like to cook, so I cook a lot for the kids, and I want to make sure that no one goes home hungry. So I want them just to be a kid and to have a good time while they're there. And I love kids. I love that connection I have with the kids.
Awesome. All right, so we've talked about the food pantry. We've talked about after school program, Christmas, Homie Pair. How did you all get into the Homie Pair part of your service, and what does that look like for you all?
My dad was a disabled construction superintendent for the mines. So we had the knowledge, but we did not have the money, the materials to repair our house. So that same group from Seton Hall University came down and repaired the floors in my house. And at that time, I got to know him. I was probably like 13. the next year, they called ahead of time and asked if I would come and help them on someone else's. So I did this when I was younger, and then I came back. That was a lot of the reason why I came back to run this. And then when I came back to run it, we've expanded it. So now we build 1 to 2 small houses a year. We just dedicated house number 1 for this year. We started it in June. We finished it. The lady has moved into it. It's a single lady who has running hot water for the first time in about 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
To me, that is ridiculous. And now that we have people living in situations, her old house, they kept closing off a room. Every time the roof failed, they would just close off that room and put plastic and duct tape over it. And she was down to about 2.5 rooms.
Oh my goodness.
And so we built her a 20 by 32 house. Speaking of partnerships, I have a partnership with Cabell County Vocational School, and they prefab these houses with their students in their construction classes. And then we bring them in on a rollback and set them on a foundation. And then these volunteer groups come in and we build these houses in that manner so that we can do them quicker and more efficiently.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Your generosity has a direct and positive impact in the lives of people in need in Appalachia every day. It is the unwavering support of faithful friends like you that make this work possible. Many of our supporters are beginning to plan and envision what kind of legacy they want to leave to support the causes that are near and dear to their hearts. CAP is happy to provide a safe and easy experience for people to create a will and support CAP through non-cash gifts. Through our partnership with Free Will, CAP offers our donors the ability to create a will online and alter it at no charge. Our partnership with Free Will also includes their Smart Giving Suite, which allows donors to give through their IRA, donor advised funds, and stock online, in addition to creating a will for free. In recent years, Appalachia has faced unrelenting challenges, including the pandemic, inflation, and back-to-back natural disasters. You can make a life-changing impact and leave a legacy of hope in Appalachia. To learn more about non-cash giving opportunities, please visit christianapp.org/more ways to give.
How do you see your work as an expression of spreading the love of Christ in your community?
Just to see the smiles, the impact that our work helps with these families, that makes the difference, because sometimes it's hard to see what actually goes through this. But when you see how impacted the families are with sometimes it's a simple smile, that they're proud, or they have the ownership, like the new house, the ownership. The lady was just so happy to see the house. It was something that she could be proud of. And with the food, it's like, well, I'm going to have dinner tonight. And we've even had people send us pictures of the dinner that they cooked from the food that they received from us. So it's just little things like that makes the biggest impacts.
Yeah, amen. Amen to that. So when you look ahead, Bill, and you think about your hopes and goals for the Dunlow Community Center and all of your outreach programs that you do, what goes through your mind when you're dreaming your big, wildest dreams? What are your hopes and goals for the center?
Well, right now we have after-school program 1 night a week, so maybe we need a little bit more. The amount of homes that we build. If I've got a little bit more capacity, can I build 3 homes in a year, or 4, 5? The need here each year is just it is mind-boggling, and I think that this is all possible to achieve. We just need to have the right partners and the right people to make it happen there.
You raised your family here. You're from Appalachia. You talked about your upbringing and skills and things you learned and being able to come back and serve the community. So what gives you the most hope when you think about the future of the region? Oh,
these kids that are coming through here are by far my highlight. For a lot of the kids around here, when they leave here, they don't have, if you're a foster kid, a lot of times you don't have any support from the family once you graduate and you move out on your own. So we're that support system. We've had several kids as they moved from high school into working or into college who have spent time with us, some of them up to a year or more living with us in our house. It's hard to make that. And if you think back on it, how challenging that would have been, just to have one of them will call me and say, how do I fix my toilet? This is leaking. How do I stop it? Something simple as that. Or how do I open a checking account? This is stuff that these kids don't have any support telling them, helping them through this hard process of learning these things. And that's what we are here for. That gives me hope.
Well, we never let our guests leave without answering this question. The mission statement of Christian Appalachian Project is building hope, transforming lives, and sharing Christ's love through service in Appalachia. When you think of those words, hope, transformation, love, and service, which one do you think embodies the Appalachian spirit the most?
We just got to go with hope and service. I mean, the amount of volunteers that I have that come out to help make this possible. I have some that will come 4 days a week if I let them every week. Hope. I think it's very important that we give the kids the hope for the future there. We show them that there's a path out of the poverty that they may have been raised in, and hope for everybody. So if you're not worrying about food, if you've got a house, the face of someone who first time when they see this house and that they've got a place to live and they're not worried about just surviving, they can worry about maybe achieving. For all of these individuals, it is huge to me.
Yeah. So it's been wonderful having you all on talking about the work that God has called you all to and seeing you have an impact in the community there. Bill and Addie, thank you for sharing your journey and your heart with all of our listeners today. And I know that they can find more about your work online. Your story really is a powerful reminder of what happens when faith meets action. I love that about your story, and thanking you all for sharing that. I know that you've seen people wait in lines for miles, as we've talked about, and I've seen it for myself. And you've also seen your neighbors, that you just talked about the resilience. Join together, neighbors helping neighbors to meet the needs. And through it all, you all have shown what it means to love your neighbors and to deeply serve with joy. Thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Our guest today has been Bill and Addie Likens. They are the directors of the Dunlow Community Center in West Virginia. Thanks for listening to the show, and catch new episodes every Tuesday. And always invite your friends to listen too. You can follow the work of Christian Appalachian Project on all social media channels and find the show at christianapp.org/podcast or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You know the drill. If you like the show, please take a quick second to click that follow button and leave a review. That will all help other people to find the show too. We'll see you next time.